I'm currently reading a beautiful book called The Light Shall Set You Free by Dr. Noma and Dr. Shali. Brilliant book. Check it out. I want to share a beautiful passage that I read from the book that touches beautifully to the topic we're going to be talking about today, which is all about how to navigate the different experiences that we have in life. And of course, when I'm talking about experiences, I'm mostly addressing the challenges, not the good moments, because no one ever sits down to ask themselves, why are things going great right now? No one ever sits down to reflect on that. But when the challenging moments hit us, that's when we actually sit down and start trying to see how to navigate these challenges, how to overcome them, and all of that. So I'm going to be sharing more on this, more insights, and a beautiful insight you can tap into to just help you navigate life much better moving forward. So, hi, my name is Eva. I'm an intuitive healer. I work with two modalities. One which is based on working with the Akashic records is called soul realignment. And the second one is called quantum, which is all about the rewiring of your nervous system. And basically, what I do is that I help you clear whatever is holding you back emotionally, mentally, or energetically, so that you can actually reconnect to your true self and start creating true change in your life. Because a lot of people are stuck in old patterns, old belief systems, old stories, trauma that has kept them stuck for so many years, and nothing is seeming to get them to the other side of whatever trauma or whatever experience that they've had in their life. And what I do with these two modalities is help you to clear all these blockages within your system, help you reconnect back to your spirit, help you navigate life much easier based on your true authentic expression, not based on what other people are doing, but how you are coded with your unique particular blueprint, how you were coded to experience your current reality. So that's what I do with these two modalities. And I'm going to be sharing more on a beautiful program I've come up with, a 6-week program that you get to work with me one on one. I'm going to be sharing more on that at the end of this video. So make sure you tune in until the end to hear what that beautiful program and how it can actually be a game changer for you and your growth and your transformation this year. So let's go back to today's topic. So again, nothing is ever good or bad. It's only we judge it as good or bad based on what we, perceive in our minds, right? And the reason why I want to share this beautiful passage is the book also highlights these things that we call test of initiations, which a lot of people are actually stuck in, especially in the spiritual community, where you've probably finding yourself, you've worked on yourself for so many years, you've probably tapped into a million and one modalities to heal yourself, to get better, and still something doesn't get you to cross over to the other side where life gets starts getting easier. And why does this happen? And I feel like every successful person whose stories I've heard, whose stories I've read about, has gone through this particular moment of forging through fire. Remember, the diamond, right, has to go through a lot. The creation process is being put through a lot of fire, a lot of, pressing and all of that just for it to become that shiny diamond at the end. It doesn't just happen by a snap of a finger. And every person who's actually attained any kind of success in their life, regardless of which life area we're looking at, has gone through those moments. But how do you navigate these moments, right? How do you navigate these challenges, this test of initiation? One thing that the book highlights is that the best way to navigate the situation is, first of all, to tap into gratitude, which I know is hard, especially when you're going through difficult moments. For me to tell you, just thank God or thank the universe that this is happening to you, not a lot of people can tap into that because obviously, if probably you're stuck in a horrible, I would say maybe financial state, you don't know how to pay your bills. And I'm telling you right now, you gotta be grateful for that situation. We'll just look at you like you're crazy, right? Which makes sense. But what the book says is that whenever we're going through this test of initiation or challenges, if you may, it's not because you've been punished or you've done anything wrong. The reason why we go through such a situation is, first of all, to just check basically how are we doing on our spiritual path? What lessons have we learned? How have we evolved and all of that? Because you have to go through tests. It's the same thing you go through when you go to school, right? If you were just to go from, from kindergarten all the way to getting a bachelor's degree and all of that, and you actually never went through examinations or something, how will people actually know that you're mastered in whatever field you're mastered in or whatever field you are tapping into? How do people know that you're actually competent if you're actually not being tested on whether you actually know the material or not, which is basically what we go through when we're going through these challenging moments in our lives. It's a test of initiation because for your soul to evolve, to go to a higher state of vibrational state of being, where you're calling in all these miracles and amazing opportunities in your life, you have to be prepared for that. Because again, for most people who want that fast, quick success, they get there and they haven't gone through that test of initiation. Guess what? It's not a sustainable vibrational state for them. So they'll get there, get lost in it, end up making their lives even way worse than what it was before, even though it seems like they've achieved everything that they wanted, because they didn't go through that forging, those tests of initiation to prepare them for that higher state, vibrational state they're calling it. So that's the one thing that you have to look at when you're going through these challenging moments. It's to thank the universe, thank God for having these moments and bringing these moments to you because you recognize them as a way to strengthen you, strengthen the light in you, strengthen your purpose, strengthen your vibrational state, so that you can actually be able to receive whatever state you're calling in and hold it. Because again, people manifest what they want or what they desire, and then they get there and then they self sabotage because they weren't prepared for that. So it's to get you prepared to hold that higher vibrational state of being and also maintain so that you're not constantly fluctuating back and forth between high vibrational state to low vibrational state. So this is literally what the challenge is about. The other thing that the book highlights perfectly, it says that this test of initiation sometimes, remember that most people get so attached to material success and all of that, the cars, the job, the titles, and all of that. But at the end of it all, and this is in no way discrediting wanting or desiring that kind of success. I'm not doing that in this video. I'm just saying that at the end of it all, you also have to keep in mind what actually matters. Because at the end of your existence in this life, guess what? All these material things that you've accumulated, yes, they made your life better. Yes, you are entitled to them as long as you're living in this reality because everyone is that entitled to abundance. Remember, abundance is your natural state, right? But at the end of it all, when you're crossing over to the other side, you don't get to go there with your titles, with your degrees, your certificates, your jobs, your cars, and all of that. You get to live that experience here. What actually matters is who you become in your entire experience of life. How did you treat other people? Did your soul evolve? And basically, it highlights this beautiful test of initiation and the reason why we go through them. What lessons are we being taught to embody through these lessons? Okay. So, one of the things is sometimes we go through certain situations to help us release pride. And these are such we will call them mundane things. I'm just trying to get to the page that has those tests highlighted perfectly. So sometimes you go through situations or certain things just to help you overcome pride. Because what happens when you attain that level of success, most people forget where they came from. I mean, you've seen the kind of certain powerful people who have everything that you could ever desire and the pride in them, how they treat other people. It's just mind-boggling. They completely forget where they came from. So some of those tests, some of those challenges is to help you overcome that. So you'll be attracting different people, different experiences, and all of that just to help you to really teach you what humbleness is, what humility is. Some other test of initiation has to do with how to start with love. What does this mean? It's basically you setting your boundaries with other people, right? Because most people, especially again in the spiritual community, is about love and light. And you want to help everyone, you want to have compassion with everyone and say yes to everyone. But you forget that you also have to say yes to yourself first before you're going to serve other people. So starting with love is learning how to set those boundaries, not from a place of judgment or you hating or you don't want to serve other people, but from stating that I cannot serve you if I'm not at 100%. So some of those tests of initiation learn is teaching you how to set these boundaries with the people around you so that people are not, you're not constantly overgiving to the point of depletion. And if you're depleted, guess what? You don't have energy to actually work on the things that your soul came here to. work on, if I may say so. The other thing is about learning unconditional love, which is a difficult one. I mean, I don't think actually humanity understands what true unconditional love is. And a perfect example of what unconditional love is, I would say, from the Christian background, is what Jesus did, right? Dying on the cross for people who are actually wanting to, who slandered his name, who punished him for literally doing nothing, just speaking the truth. And even in that moment, he still shows love. That is what unconditional love is. And most people don't have an idea of what unconditional love is because we haven't been trained that a lot of the love we have as humanity is based on conditions. Some of the tests of initiation, some challenges we go through is to help you learn what unconditional love is through forgiveness. I'm not saying to let other people take advantage of you because you also have to be smart when you're setting the boundaries and all of that. But still, you can set your boundaries, but still set your boundaries from a place of love, not from a place of judgment or hatred to the other person. The other test of initiation you face is how to surrender the ego to your ego to the will of God. So, what does this mean? It's letting go of this idea that you have to figure out. Remember that figure out life on your own, right? You're not here to create everything or make things happen. You're here to co create with God or the universe. So, sometimes we want things so badly and we want it in a certain way that we forget that we're here to serve a higher purpose, not just what our egoic mind wants. And remember that your egoic mind is highly influenced by the people around you, what society says is, happening right now. So if society tells you that, oh, everyone needs to get married, and then you have this egoic need that I need to get married because this is what society demands of me. If this is not in accordance with what your soul came here to experience, which is aligned with God's will, guess what? It only leads to disaster. So some of the tests of initiation has to do with letting go of this egoic desire of attaining certain levels of being and really surrendering to what our soul came here to experience. Some of those challenges can actually teach us that. The next lesson is controlling the emotional and mental bodies. And I would say that a lot of people actually need this. I mean, think about it. You actually facing this test on a daily basis and think about the person who has road rage, pisses you off when you drive in your car, someone who steps on you or steps on like when you're just walking on the road, just little things like that all in an essence, just to teach you how to balance your emotional state and emotional state. Because what most people do is that you face a trigger, boom, you go to the extreme, you get super angry, and you end up reacting or doing something you end up regretting later. I mean, it's what happens when you're doing crimes or passion. Someone got really mad at someone, ended up committing a horrible, horrible crime towards another person just because they were angry, right? So some of the tests of initiation, it's the little triggers just to help you react or learn how to balance your mental emotional bodies so they're not constantly being influenced to react from a place of extreme. And these extremes, I'm also talking about the happy moments because sometimes you can be so excited and so happy about life that you actually forget to work on what matters or what is important for you. So learning how to be balanced regardless of what's happening in your life. Another test of initiation we go through is desiring to be of all service. So again, it's not always about you the experiences that you have, sometimes it's not always about you, it's about how it's in service to other people. And I've highlighted this before on my channel where I said that sometimes you find yourself in situations where it doesn't make sense for you in that situation, but probably by just you being there, maybe someone seeing something that you're carrying has a message for them. Your presence there was needed even though for you it might be looking inconveniencing in an essence that you're someone else's answered prayer. So it's not always about you. So sometimes these tests of initiation are also in preparation for us to be of service to others. And also tapping into our purpose so that whatever we're doing is actually in service, not just to our needs and our desires, but also for the collective desire. So start looking at your challenges through that lens, that they're teaching me, strengthening my will to become the best that I can be, right, for my soul's evolution. Because without mastery, without going through these tests and challenges, you'll actually never be a mastered soul. You'll never have mastery of anything. So we thank this test of initiation for coming into our lives because of that. And the other thing that the book highlighted also that I really wanted to emphasize is that sometimes when you're going through these challenges, right, especially during the difficult moment, most people, again, you go through the comparison part where you're comparing yourself to other people. Why is it happening to me? And not other people. Why am I being punished or something like that? And you go into this victim kind of mindset. And you're not using that challenge to actually help you evolve. And what this does is that it basically triggers you to go again into this victimhood state, and you do not learn the lessons that you're meant to learn, those the lessons in that moment, right? And what usually happens is that if you don't learn those lessons, they're gonna come at you until you actually master the lessons. It might be in this lifetime, it might be in several lifetimes. Actually, for so many people, you've taken a couple of lifetimes to actually just embody some of the lessons I was highlighting before. So when we don't learn the lessons in the moment, guess what happens? The next time they come around, they're gonna be louder and more painful than they were right now. And I really want you to have this in mind that whatever challenges you're going through, please find whatever lessons the universe or God is trying to teach you in that moment, learn them, make sure you change your behavior, make sure you evolve from that so that you're not making the same mistakes again, so that the next time around, they're not as even more painful than what you're currently experiencing right now. I actually had a beautiful presentation from one of the podcasters I listened to, and they're basically saying that sometimes when we have such a difficult task to do, what does our mind do? It wants to protect us. So it will do everything it can to make us perceive that particular task, whether it's good or not. Maybe you probably wanting to embody a great habit. So what the mind will do is that it will convince you that you going in that direction is the most painful thing you can ever experience. Avoid it at all costs. And what happens is that the more and more you avoid it, the worse and worse that situation becomes. So you find that maybe months down the line, when you're now finally now being forced to handle the situation has gotten so bad compared to how you initially started. Like, for example, maybe you want to lose weight, right? So right now you're not, it hasn't gotten like out of hand, right? So what you do is you have in mind, I need to start working on my diet, I need to start working out and all of that. But then you're like, that's too much work. You procrastinate, you self-sabotage, and then 5 months down the line, when you're lying in a hospital bed, is when it hits you, I should have started working out then. And this is literally what happens with our life lessons, that the minute you don't learn the lesson in that moment, it only gets worse and worse and worse because your mind convinced you now that this is as painful as it gets for you. If you do not learn the lessons, it's gonna get 10 times worse. By the time you finally now stop and say, okay, now something needs to be done. And you do not want to be on the other side. This is why so many people end up hitting rock bottom because all the other soul nudges that they had, they ignored. They didn't learn the lessons. And so the universe had to get louder to get your attention. You don't want to be on that spectrum. So when you're going through this test, this challenging moment, again, be grateful for them. Learn your lesson so that it does not get worse for you in the end. And remember, the reason why they happen is just to strengthen you, not to punish you, but to help you be better so that you can hold that higher vibrational state that you're calling in. So that was my share for today. Let me know your thoughts on this. What kind of challenges are you currently experiencing right now? Are there certain lessons that you've been avoiding, and maybe just by watching this video, it just suddenly hit you? I need to start doing something different. Please do, and do share in the comments so that we can also learn from each other. So make sure that if you do like the kind of content I share out here, do subscribe to the channel and also click on the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any time I share any kind of content. So I did promise I was going to introduce you to my beautiful program, a 6 weeks program where you actually get to work with me one-on-one with the two modalities I mentioned, which is soul alignment and quantum flow, where actually going to be going deep into a couple of things. So let me just share my screen just to help you determine or just gauge if you're a good fit for this program or not. Um, so this program, this 6 weeks program with me is perfect for you. Again, if you're currently feeling disconnected from your higher self, you have experiencing mental fog and feeling overwhelmed in life, feeling emotionally drained and stagnant, looking successful but actually feeling so misaligned with your life. If you're feeling lost on your spiritual journey, you're stuck in repetitive patterns, or you're constantly attracting the same kind of experiences over and over and over again, and you just want to know why and how to tap out of that, this program will be a beautiful fit to actually help you get to the root cause of all the things listed on the screen. And the dream outcomes from this is that, first of all, at the end of the 6 weeks, you're going to end up feeling so aligned and at peace with yourself. You're going to be feeling so empowered and clear and about who you need to be and what you need to work on going forward. You're going to be looking so radiant, so grounded. People around you are actually going to notice the difference. You're going to be feeling so emotionally resilient, be more spiritually connected than you were before when you start in the program. You're going to be confident, self-assured. You're going to feel joyful and free and so much more. And basically what you can expect in this 6 weeks program. So one thing I'm going to offer you, which is a bonus that comes with this 6 weeks, is a free property realignment reading, which I'm going to be explaining more for you. If you actually choose to join this program, you're going to be getting 6 weeks of personalized support. So you're going to be working with me one-on-one. It's not a group course. It's just me and you one-on-one for the next 6 weeks, just really tailored to whatever challenges you're going through right now. You're going to be receiving a soul realignment reading, 21 days clearing homework, powerful recorded quantum flow activations, so beautiful embodiment practices using breathwork, sound, and movement, just to help you release the memory of all your old wounds within your body, within your nervous system. You're also going to be getting weekly workbooks, email support, WhatsApp support from me, weekly and daily journaling prompts, and also you're going to be getting access to additional quantum flow meditations that I currently have, and also the future ones that I upload for you. And yeah, you're going to be getting lifetime access to all of this. So if you're curious about this, I'm going to invite you to book a discovery call with me. Let me see if I have the QR code on the screen. If I do not have it, I'm going to invite you to book a discovery call with me with the link in the description box down below so you can check it out. Book a discovery call where we're just gonna gauge if this program is a great fit for you and whatever you're currently going through. So I hope I'm gonna get to see you on the other side. For now, I'm sending you so much love and see you on the next upload. Bye for now.